And here you can tell things are starting off fast down here at Haulover. This crew couldn't even make it in without the anchor locker popping open on them, which means it's probably going to be a rough day for our crews, but welcome back to Boats vs. Haulover, where me and the machine take on Mother Nature down here at Haulover Inlet. And this, of course, is going to bring us to the first round of our competition, where here in the first round, the boats have decided to go ahead and toss a Sea Hunter in the ring to open things off, and that might not be good news for Haulover because these boats are notorious for making it out the inlet without issue, but this crew is going out injured as they're already down one engine. But Cap is starting to work his way out. He's got the bow up, so he's gonna try and let the boat do its thing and carve its way through these waves. But again, you can tell it's a rough day. Now he's left the helm for some reason. That's never good. So nobody's behind the helm driving and he winds up going down. Haulover makes him pay for that decision to try and leave the helm to grab a line that he had flopping around up there, and he winds up on the deck. So he's back at the helm now, but unfortunately for this crew, the damage has been done, and they're going to wind up taking a loss for the boats here in the first round. And that's going to bring us to the second round of our competition. Haulover takes an early 1-0 edge, and here in the second round, the boats are going to toss an Agoo's Marine vessel into the ring to see if it can get them on the board. And here we go, our crew's working their way out. Cap's got the boat barely up on plane, which is not a bad pace, especially since it's rough out there today. There is somebody standing on the other side in the gunnel, which is probably a pretty poor idea. Hopefully that person can hang on, as this boat is getting absolutely worked as it tries to make its way out of Haulover. Cap and crew look pretty solid though, letting the boat do its thing as they make their way out. I mean, there's a lot of spray. Right there, they kind of get up in the air a little bit, but overall, it's just a rough day at Haulover. Not much more you can do than take a little bit of a rough ride out, but fortunately for this crew, our guy stands up on the gunnel and stays there. It doesn't appear that they stuffed the bow anywhere, and I can't see any major faults that would make me go against the boats in this one, and the boats are going to sneak in, even with a rough ride here in the second round, and wind up taking a win, and that's going to bring us to a 1-1 tie as we move into the third round of our contest. And here in the third round, the boats are going to toss a rib tender in the ring to go ahead and try and take on Haulover. I'm not 100% sure what brand this is. If you know, let us know in the comments. And they are getting absolutely blasted as they try and make their way out of the inlet. And what makes it even worse is this guy that's sitting in the bow is getting his hiney kicked as he tries to hang on. I'm not sure who put him up there, what made this person decide to be there. If Cap talked him into it somehow, maybe saying, hey, if you go up there, it'll keep the bow down. Well, that solution is not working, other than our guy is getting straight punched in the face the whole way on the way out. Here even they try to stand up, and they wind up right straight back on the deck. This is just an ugly one as they try and work their way out. Of course, right here you can see the first mistake this crew does is try and come right down the middle. They really should have been hugging one of the sides of the inlet. It would have made things a whole lot easier on them, but instead they decided to take the roughest path. Maybe the Cap just doesn't like that guy and was like, hey bro, go up in the bow, it'll be fine, it's only Haulover. Now again, I'm not sure what this crew was thinking during this whole thing, but one thing's for sure, the end result's gonna be this crew is absolutely taking a loss for the boats. So much so I actually feel bad for the guy in the bow. And of course, this is going to give Haulover the 2-1 edge as we move into the fourth round of our contest. And here in the fourth round, the boats are going go big or go home as they're going to toss a deep impact in the ring to see if it can go ahead and get him back on the board. And man, Cap is absolutely straight, sending it throttles pin, and he's just going to smoke his way into Haulover, taking an easy win for the boats, bringing us into our fifth and final round, now tied at 2 apiece. Who will take the win in this episode? Will it be the boats or Haulover? Let's go, and we're going to have an Axopar stepping in the ring to try and close it out for the boats. And our crew is making their way toward the mouth of the inlet, and our Cap needs to keep on the throttle to let this boat do its thing. These Axopars love it when you keep up on that throttle and get the bow high, but they go low instead. Now let's take a look at the replay, see if they actually wound up stuffing it, and just barely, They wind up keeping this bow above water and will continue on their trek through Haulover, and it looks like that's going to be the worst of it for them as our cap keeps on the throttle, keeping the bow up, and it's just going to chop right through these last couple waves and take a win for the boats, and the boats will take the win in this episode. Thanks for watching, crew. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Boats vs. Haulover. If you did, please check out our other content. We have Wavy Boats, who does a bunch of great things down at the inlets. My channel, Broncos Guru, does some great comedy boating videos there as well. And of course, we got the Miami Boat Ramps channel that focuses on all the hilarity that happens at the boat ramps in South Florida. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.